Hello, I'm Dr. Tony. I want to thank you for visiting my channel, and please hit the subscribe button and the bell and help me make the Big Four process a common activity in every household, because we can help ourselves when we understand what we're doing. I just had something interesting happen. I just had a patient besides a patient, a close friend of mine for many, many years, had just texted me no more than 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, that she just had to put her cat down after 20 years. And I know how close she was to her cat. And what I did was, I just want to try to help her out in one way. So basically, she's gonna be hearing this just like you are. And what I did was I went through the Big Four process on what's the most important aspect for her and her family to get through, but mainly her, because it was her cat. 20 years is a long time. That's not a cat, that's a family member. That's when decisions aren't based on just you and your kids, it's based on the family. So what I did was I did put the Big Four process, and again, for new viewers, what the Big Four process is, it is when we take the four aspects of who we are. We are a four aspect being. We are a spiritual being who has a mental thought that creates the image, and then you have emotions produced from that image, which is expressed in the physical body to either alter matter, spontaneous healing, paradigm shift, whatever. Because we're that four-part being: spiritual to mental to emotional to physical, from highest vibration to lowest. So the Big Four process is blending all four of these simultaneously. That's the key. No other healing art does that. We do it at the exact same moment. And the way we do it is we're going to break it up. So what I did was I did some energetics on her. I used my instrument, and again, can also use the sacred geometry. And this is what came up with her. Now for the mental, what came up for this woman was I speak. That's what came up for the mental. So we have the mental aspect, and then the emotional aspect was anger and hatred to forgiveness. So we have the mental, the emotion, and the block energy field was the spleen, and then the specific location of the spleen is right in the right side of her leg. Okay, so what does this mean, and how can she benefit from this? So as we look at I speak of anger and forgiveness, what it tells us that what this woman should be doing now when she starts to grieve the lost animal is I want her to speak of forgiving herself for whatever reason that she may feel that she did something wrong. But you have to understand that no matter what this woman did for the cats, we all have our destiny. Our life is not pre-planned, as I look at it. Our life is what we choose. Because again, your highest thought could be your God, whatever you believe in, is something that you create. So at the moment, and this is what you have to understand, and what I want her to understand is, I want her to go through her emotions, but we don't want the emotions to stop her. Because again, in 100 years, we're all gonna be dead anyway. So we're all gonna be together in one way or another. So this cat, and when we lose a person, a friend, a family, didn't leave us because we have the memories and we have the energetic field within us. What they left was this physical world. And the way the physical world is now, it's pretty tough, this physical world. So I want her to sit back and meditate and understand that, wow, I want her to forgive. I want her to speak and forgive herself, or speak to anything she did, speak to herself. And what's interesting is there's a big difference from hearing what someone says and listening. A lot of people listen but don't hear. So what I want this person to do to help her get through this is, I don't want her to have any anger or hatred because of something she thought she did. Because no matter what you do, it's always going to result in a conclusion. So what she did at that moment, and this is true for everybody right now, whatever you do at that moment was right for you. So if she has some anger or hatred because something she did with this cat even 5 years ago, it's okay, because at that moment, that is what was right for you. No human, they say, does anything wrong. What happens is the only constant in the universe is change. So Wayne Dyer always talks about that when he went to visit people in jail, and they would say, what I did at that moment was the right thing to do. But then after that moment change, because the only constant is change, then you can see a different picture. So whenever someone, even if someone gets in an argument, at that moment, they may have a need to be right, not happy. So what happens is, every moment, it builds on a moment before. And that's what I always say. I don't care what your past is like. With the Big Four process, you can change it. But you have to want to change it. So what I want this woman to do, a close friend of mine, because I know she's in pain, is I want her to sit back and I want her to meditate and say to herself, see herself speaking to the cat. And the cat, again, is going to be speaking back in images and connecting with this person, because there is an energetic connection, there's no doubt about it. So I want the cat to understand that forgiveness is something that this woman can do to herself. Because this cat, after 20 years, becomes part of the family, and this cat now is going to still be in her heart. And I remember, I forget who said it, some book I read, that if you think of someone that you hated 20 years ago and someone that you loved 20 years ago, which one do you have better feelings about? The one that you love. The hate, lower vibration disappears. So please, I want her to sit back. I want her to, again, go through the process, have her sit back and just have her think about, I want her to speak to herself, because I know this woman. I want her to listen to herself. Speak to herself and forgive her for whatever comes up as she's doing this little meditation, whatever comes up, what she thinks she might have done wrong or whatever. It doesn't make a difference, because she did her best, like we all do. So I want her to sit back, speak to the cats, and the cat will speak back in this meditation. Have her visualize that all of the anger and hatred that she has basically for herself is draining out of that right leg, the spleen meridian, right here, just draining out. And she can picture the cat, her cat being happy. He's out of complete pain. He's at peace. And we're all going to be there one day anyway, so it does make a difference. So again, when you have something going on in your life, find out what aspect of the mental is it. Is it I speak? Is it I feel, I love, I do, I understand, I see? Which mental aspect and what emotion? So again, the way I came up with these 4 cards is I used the sacred geometry and instrument. And again, it's all energetics. Just like the power of prayer, it works. So again, I want to thank you, and she'll be seeing this shortly, because I'm going to text her that I'm just releasing it. And again, I want to thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, please email me at questionforhealth@gmail.com. Anyone who purchases the cards gets a free Zoom session. And I want to thank you again, and have a great day.